And, oh, let me. Alan Whisman, Team Synergy Real Estate. Hello.
Jennifer Mertlin, how are you?
This is like the Ask Alan for Real Estate Advice column.
Love it.
But instead of the newspaper, it's Facebook Live.
That's right.
So, Alan, one of the questions that we get asked a lot from sellers is, especially like in a market where it's like turning, right? This is always on the upswings and the downswings. It's like, how do we know what our property is worth? Should we get an appraisal on it?
Yeah, so I think the answer to that is it just depends.
Alan.
I know, right?
Alan, that is not the answer.
It is the answer. So let me explain. So in times where there is a real question about the price, if the seller disagrees with the market value and really just needs a confirmation that we're on track, which, so let's go back one more step before that. So an appraisal is someone's opinion, okay? There is no magic wand. There is no magic to this. There is no formula.
There's 8-ball magic.
No, there's 8-ball magic. Yes, that's right. But assume that we don't have an 8-ball.
Okay.
All right. So there is no, this is someone's opinion on that day. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we feel like we need another opinion, then yes, but there's a cost involved. So if you want to pay for that just to confirm, then that's fine. However, real estate agents are going to do exactly what an appraiser does. So when I look at properties, I am actually analyzing it in the eyes of an appraiser, because I know I'm going to have to sell this house 3 times. Once to a buyer, once to an inspector, and once to an appraiser. So I want to make sure I cover all those bases. So
and once to the buyer's agent.
And to the buyer's agent, yes.
Yeah.
buyer agent, we'll put those together.
We'll lump them together, yeah.
So if there is a question, and sometimes properties are difficult to comp and look at, because there's nothing out there. It's a completely unique property. I had one property one time, there was nothing. I could not comp it. We decided to get an appraisal, and no appraiser would take it because they couldn't figure it out either. They looked at the property and literally declined. Like, they don't want to do it either.
That's when you do an auction, right? I just think I think I understand what you're saying, but I just think a majority of the time getting an appraisal before listing it is, you're wasting money, because it's between $400 and $600 depending on your market, like something in there, depending on the property. And the buyer is likely going to have a loan, and that lender is going to require a third-party appraisal, and they will not be able to use yours. Exactly. So it's like, it doesn't even really matter.
Again, I'm not a proponent of doing an appraisal before, so I'm with you. We're agreeing. Okay. Our fight club is, we're now in the same fighting here. Yeah, we're in the same.
Well, even if we agree, I'll make it a fight. No.
Mega fun. But yeah, I mean, I am right there with you. I don't believe, unless there is a real compelling reason why we should do an appraisal before we go on the market, don't pay for it. It's a
because, like you said, as real estate agents, we can look. We have other colleagues that generally everybody can take an independent look and kind of see. And most of the time, there's like a range. And then buying a house, from an appraiser standpoint, it's strictly data. The problem is that from a buyer standpoint, it's a little bit of data and a lot of emotion. Yeah, and so right. There's some money attached to that, and as real estate agents who do our job every day, we can value that. And then there's some marketing too, right? So like when you put the house on the market, there are certain numbers and certain ways to put it on, that in certain ways of how certain search engines look at properties, that you can pull in more buyers too. So there's like all these factors that, like, just knowing the data on that, like you said, it's a specific day, with a specific person, you hire 3 appraisers on the same exact day, you're getting 3 different answers typically. So it's like, why?
Right. And to your point, an appraiser is doing the exact same thing. They're taking the subject property and they're
Mhm.
comparing it to 3 other homes.
Right.
Guess what? That's what we
That's
do
what we
as
do.
real estate agents. And we're going to
But there's
adjust
nothing
that.
about the emotion, right? So like
No, exactly.
one of the houses smells like cat pee. The
Mhm.
other one's completely renovated. Like there's no, if they are the exact same house, they're basically worth the same. I mean, sometimes you get some points and some dollars for renovations, but not as much as it costs to renovate it.
No, you're right. You're exactly right. So it's, yeah, no, I agree with you. I think it's a waste of money, um, because even though they have appraiser next to their name, they're doing the same thing as
Yeah.
we are. And it's our opinion for that day. And if we don't go on the market for another few weeks, we have to do it again
Yeah.
because
Good
the
point.
market may have changed completely since
Yeah.
then. So
It's crazy. It is. I like it. An appraisal is an opinion of value in a moment in time by a specific person. And like, that's
exactly.
it.
And it's an opinion. Again, there is no magic formula. And the appraisers will tell you there is no formula. They're giving their opinion just like we are. So
Yeah.
it's just that theirs is a little more formally written.
They
Well,
get paid to do
more
the
trees
appraisal.
are
We get
a
paid to
few more
market
trees.
and sell.
Right. There's a few more trees that get, cut down because of their report. Yeah. I'm sorry, I don't want to downplay an appraiser's ability. We love our appraisers.
Well, and it's needed. Like the third party, it's going to happen anyway, right? As a process for the loan, because the lender who's ever lending money to the buyer needs to know from a third party, does this what I'm lending them in line with what it seems like is the value of the home? Like that's, important.
Yeah.
But I would be interested because we do have a couple of appraiser friends and colleagues. What do they think there's a benefit in getting it ahead of time? Or what did we like? What are maybe we not thinking about
Well,
or
I
something?
think, and I was thinking through this. So right now, I think maybe people look at it differently because I have a financial gain in how I appraise this house to go on the market, how we look at the house to go on the market. An appraiser is a third party that doesn't know anything, and they don't know the people, they don't know the bank. They're
Right.
just out there by themselves doing this. So there isn't that connection. I guess maybe people look at it as I have a financial benefit to appraising this house higher, but it doesn't help me. I want to look at that house based on the market, because if I put it out too high, I'm not going to sell it anyway.
Right.
So I want to make sure I'm at that sweet spot.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. I
Mhm.
love it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Alan, if people want to find out what their house is worth, if they're thinking about selling, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Text or call 513-646-1488. I've
Oh,
got my phone attached to my hand.
awesome. Thank you, Alan. Have a
All right,
good
take
one.
care.
See
Bye-bye.
ya.